So yeah, I'm kind of addicted, but like it's just too delicious, you know.
It grows on a shrubby tree and it produces a red cherry. It has a white blossom and it can be harvested up to twice a year under the right conditions.
It's the world's second biggest traded commodity after oil.
Around the globe we're consuming 200 million cups a day. So obviously it's a very, very important business.
But I love how it's just so uncommercialized. Like, if you want a good coffee, you're not going to go to Wild Bean or Macca's or some big chain of places. You're going to go to a little schmal cafe like Me Older Kitchen and you'll get the best coffee around.
The coffee culture is fairly similar in most of Auckland because I think a lot of people are fairly transient with their coffee places that they go to. So you know, people will go for quite a distance to get a good cup of coffee from somewhere that they like. And the coffee culture in Ponsonby and Greyland isn't necessarily people who live here. But certainly in the central suburbs I think it's a lot more sophisticated than it is further outside in Auckland and wider Auckland.
It's where small business people hold meetings, it's where people date, it's where people catch up, it's where people recreate, where they relax and get a little bit of time to themselves.
Cafes themselves are fairly labour intensive setups, so a large portion of what a cafe's overheads are is cost for wages, and that's because it takes all those people to be able to provide you with that experience, to be able to provide you with a nice environment, with a freshly made coffee, with the food that you order on time, all of those things.
Sit in a nice place with lots of cool people drinking coffee and like a nice environment and like nice cafe food, and yeah, I think it's definitely got a big place in our society.
Being a cafe, you know, it's a central hub where people in the area can come and meet, can come and hang out and do their thing.
In the early days of the development of the new cafe society in New Zealand, people found it pretty exciting to go out and have a decent cappuccino and sit around in an environment that was highly designed.
It's a really growing industry and has been for the whole time that I've been working in it. I mean, I've been in it 10 years and when I started it was already a fairly big industry, but now it's a massive industry. It's getting a lot more competitive. It's really cutting edge, New Zealand's coffee industry worldwide. We're right up there with kind of some of the best in the world.
The fact that New Zealand produces so much dairy, I think has a big influence in it. I've just been to Paris recently, and that also is a like cafe culture, but it's real different because they don't drink as much milk with their coffee, and so they just have an espresso shot, usually just standing at the bar, and it's just like real quick thing on the way to work or something. But in New Zealand I'd say it's more of a social, like a gathering type thing.
Most of the cafes were too small to accommodate everybody all at once, and so the tables and chairs spread out onto the sidewalk. Unfortunately, the council, in our case in Ponsonby, used to swing by on a regular basis with a truck and gather up all our tables and chairs and take them back to a warehouse somewhere. We used to have to pay a fine to buy them back because it was illegal to trade on the footpath. Of course, it's entirely different now.
It's got a lot more sophisticated, a lot more detail. When I first started working in hospitality 10-12 years ago, coffee was really just kind of a hot drink that you whacked in a cup. Nobody really understood espresso. It was kind of just something that you made because you had an espresso machine. And shortly after I started, about 10 years ago, it kind of changed.
In the early days, in Jervis Road in Ponsonby in the first era, we used to roast inside the cafe at the front of the store. We'd open up the bifolds and roast right on the boundary with the footpath. People loved being able to see the process. We didn't have an afterburner, and in the winter we'd close the doors and the windows because it was really cold, and we would fill our small cafe with acrid fumes. No one ever complained, not once, in all the time that we did that. It was just considered to be part of the experience. The roasting process takes around about 15 to 20 minutes. during the course of the 20 minutes, say, of the roasting cycle, the beans change colour from green to a pale parchment colour, and then go on through the tones of brown until the roast is deemed to be complete.
You start off and the machine's on, everything, it's all set up. Portafilter in the machine, and you've obviously just made a coffee, so there's still coffee in there. Bang it out to the left. Just tap it in the grind tube to get all the coffee out. Then you've got to turn the grinder on, then flick the little lever to push the coffee into the portafilter. Usually about 3 flicks will do. Dust the top off so it's nice and flat. You want about 16 to 18 grams of coffee in there. You grab the tamper, tamp it once, and you tamp it again, and twist it, give it a little polish, and that just, I don't know, makes all the cracks disappear. And then clean all the coffee off, put it in the machine, turn it on, and it's going to pump 60 mils through the coffee cake in 25 seconds, and that will give you a perfect double shot. And then you got to grab some milk, put it in a jug, put it on a steamer, and you stretch it first. So you just put the nozzle a little bit in, and it goes like. That's the noise that you hear in cafes. And then you've got your hand on the bottom, and you hold that there until you feel heat at the bottom. You move it up, make a whirlpool of the milk, and steams it all nice, and do that until you can't hold on anymore, it's too hot to hold on. You turn it off. The bubbles are a bit too big, maybe smack it on the table to pop them. And that mixes all the bubbles and the milk together, makes like real nice, glossy, creamy, thick, beautiful milk. Pour it in, maybe using a spoon or just free pour, and you've got to get the right amount of foam. Coffee up, maybe chuck some sprinkles on top, chuck some sprinkles for a cappuccino or mochaccino, and serve. Beautiful.